Hi, everybody. As part of my 30-day Raise Your Vibration challenge, I offered to answer questions for people because I knew that when I was still struggling with my life, I had lots and lots of questions that I didn't really find an answer to until I discovered the things, the tools that I'm using right now. So, to serve more, to serve better, I offered to answer to the best of my ability questions that my viewers, my audience have been struggling with. And one of the people that responded to my call to action was Tommy. And Tommy's question is, what is my highest work or purpose? And how can I most effectively serve others through that? And I absolutely love this question, Tommy. So thank you so much for asking this because I know that a lot of people are struggling with this question. What is my purpose? How do I serve my purpose? What does it look like? So thank you for answering it, for asking it. And I am going to do my best to answer your question. So, in order to answer it, let me first tell you a bit more about who you are and what your personality is. First off, you are a manifester, and that is how your energy works. We were all built to function differently, with different skills and different ways that our energy works. And when we align with that, rather than do things the way the world tells us we need to do things, we create success and happiness with so much more ease. And it's more enjoyable because it's the way our souls actually crave doing life. Your energy type tells you how you're built to operate, and it's arguably the most important aspect of your design. So, as a manifester, you are wild and strong and playful. You were born with a very strong sense of who you want to be. You were born already knowing how to raise yourself. But it's likely that the adults in your life were told to discipline and regulate your natural urges because that's what they're told is the right thing to do with kids. But the thing with discipline is it actually constricts your energy and tells you it's not good to be wild and spontaneous and strong when that's exactly what you came here to be. Not only are you meant to be like that, but that's actually when people will love you the most, even if they don't know that consciously. That's also when you'll be the most successful, impactful, and feel the most at peace in yourself. Even though you may have been praised for being obedient and abandoning your own wants, giving yourself the license to do whatever the bleep you want is your role in this lifetime. So, as a manifester, you are an initiator. You get the ball rolling. You start something. You create movement, often without trying. A movement that others then can join in on or follow you on. And you don't have to figure out how to create movements. You just have to follow your urges because those are the very things that will create the right impetus in others. When you're being fully you, your actions will always create a spark in others that they can react to. This is you. You are the cause, and everybody else is the effect. But the thing about creating new movements is that others are never gonna get it before you've actually gone ahead and done it. So it starts with you giving yourself the licensing to go off and be and do whatever your heart is leading you to do, trusting that that's always the way you're going to create everything that you want. When you give yourself permission to do what you want to do, this gets the right people on board with you without even trying. Your essence has a self selection mechanism that sifts people into three different buckets for the best outcome to take place. Either people will be drawn right to you because they need and want this kind of essence in their lives. These are people who will want to follow and partake in whatever it is that you create. For others, it will ruffle their feathers because you're shaking them awake. When this is a natural byproduct of you just doing your thing, this is actually a very healthy thing for those people to feel for their own evolution. And others, the third category, they are simply not meant to come along for the ride of whatever your urges are leading you to do. They will not react at all. So you need to embrace your bigness. And I know bigness is scary because it's so misunderstood. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, it's not in your face. It's just unafraid to stand in its own essence and radiate that out into the world instead of adapting or changing for anyone. Trust that your essence is perfect because it's the essence the universe designed for you specifically. So it's something to honor rather than be ashamed of or apologetic for. If it helps, don't think of your essence as you. It's on loan to you for this lifetime so that you can enjoy it and share it with others. The secret to living a good life is trusting that exactly what you're inclined to do and be will change other people's lives for the better when you simply become fully okay with all the different aspects of it. The second you stand fully, unapologetically in your essence, people will take notice. And people noticing you is the very thing that activates your purpose as a manifester. And you don't even have to try to be big. Manifestors sense deep down that they're here to impact other people, but the world tells them that they need to figure out how to do this. In reality, it happens as a natural side effect when you're following your urges. When you do whatever the hell you want, that's when everybody wins. The reason it can be difficult to embrace this is because society has taught us that in order to help others, we have to sacrifice our own wants. In reality, it's actually by being the truest expression of ourselves that we will be the most beneficial to others. The universe is built on a win-win principle like that. So your energy is intense and big in a good way. Think of when something comes over you so strong that it moves you and it changes the direction in your life. This is you at your highest expression. You mustn't take it personally when your loved ones can't keep up with your level of intensity, because they weren't built for that same role as you are. If what you did wasn't intense and impactful, it wouldn't wake people up enough. And it needs to be able to do that. Intense is good and beautiful for you when you just go off and do what makes you happy, because it's the happiness that becomes intensified. And how magnetic is a person with big energy who is in their joy, at peace with themselves and aligned? It's the kind of person that shifts worlds. You are here, Tommy, to shift words. So stop having to be small. Throughout your life, you've probably received a lot of messages that tell you that it's better to smallen your nature. So many manifestors end up becoming overly apologetic, doubtful of who they are, or spend their energy trying to people please rather than spend it on doing the things their hearts would do if they 100% trusted in themselves. Manifestors also feel the criticism and judgment from others deeply, and this causes them to not share what they're up to or to want to distance themselves from people. They fear being seen because they equate that automatically with having to handle scrutiny. But know that that doesn't have to be the case. Know that when you are fully okay with being you, you attract a life where you are met with approval and reverence and support. Any smallening in your energy blocks the magnificence of who you really are and blocks it of it being really felt by others and by you yourself. So if you're living your life in a way that's so aligned, but you still feel like you could be having so much more impact and success, simply focus on getting rid of the fear of being seen and let yourself shine. Also know that a manifestor energy is not constant. It comes in surges. And since you are an initiator, you are not built to have a consistent level of energy all day long. These are the manifestors. Instead, your energy works in bursts. The universe directs you by sending you urges, spontaneous fancies that come to you, telling you what to do next in life. When overcome by an urge, the universe gives it to you with a surge of energy to carry it out. And once you've carried out that urge, you then need to rest and reset until you feel the next urge to do the next thing. You are not built to have the consistent energy of a 9 to 5 day. You're built for peaks, but also valleys. In the peaks, you have an abundance of energy and power. And when you're finished carrying out your urge, you need to come back home to yourself. When you let yourself flow with this is actually when everything you do will have the most power. Like fire. If you burn slowly all day, it won't make much of an impact. But if you set something alight and have it become engulfed in a fireball, even for a short while, people will notice and the fire will catch on. Once you've acted on an urge, it causes a ripple effect in the world that you can't control. And you're not here to micromanage how others react to what you do. Once you've done the thing that sets your soul alight, just let it go and let the sparks fly wherever they fly. Then your profile, your personality, it's that of the 4-6, the regal authority figure. And the first number describes the way you see yourself. And the second number is the way that others see you. And it serves us to have our own internal world that's not so obvious to others, and an external side of us for the physical world. So let's get into each one and how they come together to form your full personality. So the way you see yourself is the 4, the people person. In your mind, your life is oriented and measured by the people in it. You're gifted at bonding with people for this reason and have a sense of who is right for you to spend time with. For you, the saying really is true. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. It's through the connections that you make that the universe will send you all the opportunities that you desire. So the more you create connections, connection club, right? That are real and authentic to your essence, the better fit the opportunities will be that come your way. So don't entertain relationships that don't align with you, as everything that comes through them will only pull you off your path rather than closer to it. And also don't be afraid to be a little closed off or disinterested in those that you don't resonate with. And the people you love, you really love. And the rest, you can easily go without. It's not that they're bad people, they're just not right for you. And you're not designed to spend time with just anybody. And once you start to honor that and don't judge it as being closed, all the support and opportunities you're designed to have in life will come to you. Who you enjoy hanging around is who you're meant to be around. It's not by accident. So don't question why you're drawn to some and not to others. A huge milestone in your life comes when you really feel like you found your people, your tribe. And since you already know the social situations you're meant for, don't judge yourself for being inflexible when a social situation doesn't appeal to you. Then the six, the way others see you. The six is that of the wise sage. And as a sage, you're born with innate wisdom. You come into this world already wise to life. But for your first 30 years, your connection to your inner wisdom takes a backseat as you try to establish yourself, your goals, and your direction in life. You experiment with putting your energy into lots of different places, people, and opportunities. And this is an important process. But as you come to the end of your 20s, beginnings of your 30s, you usually want to be more selective about who you put or what you put your energy into because you know what will what you will reap afterwards and what you won't. You start to want to make things a little bit more peaceful and settled for yourself, keeping all the good parts of life that you acquired and getting rid of the rest, which is now just noise to you that pulls you out of yourself. It's usually at this time in your life that you realize, wow, I actually am really wise and intuitive, and I don't need to look outside of myself so much as I used to. And the path of the sage is about not getting caught up in the external and coming back to your relationship with yourself and relying on that source of wisdom from within rather than give your power or validation to others. The journey of the sage is that others are meant to see you as a role model. But you must be the first person to see yourself that way in order for that to happen. You will always feel insecure when you're placing too much focus on what others are doing and thinking. When you feel settled in yourself and tune out the noise, that is when you will reestablish that connection to your natural wisdom. And this wisdom is helpful, of course, for your own life, but it's also imperative for the way that you will be guiding and sharing and showing up for others. As long as you create time and space to hear what you already naturally know, you will always be seen as someone who others look up to for guidance and wisdom. So, what happens when they come together? In your tribe of people, you are usually the central figure, influencing, directing, and organizing everybody else. You are often holding court without even trying, and you may find that social situations revolve around you. In this way, you foster togetherness, which is a super important value to you. Family and friends are everything to you. When you are doing it with the right consciousness, being the king of your circle is a good thing as it allows you to spread what you came here to spread, which is your warmth, magnanimity, and wisdom. The world has told you that you have to do things with your head, but your big strength is your huge heart, and directing people with your heart is very different to controlling them with your head. In fact, your main job in life is to open the heart because that's where your wisdom comes from. But this can be tricky for you because you're so good at controlling things using your head. And opening the heart is scary to you because you love people so much that you are terrified of rejection. It's only when you actually show this big heart and vulnerability that people will love you even more for it. But when you're disconnected from your heart or pretend you don't have it, you may find yourself judging, pushing away, ignoring, or rejecting others before they can reject you. One of the main lessons you're here to learn is that you don't need to have such a tight grip on things for situations to work out well and in your favor. As much as you are the director figure, you need to equally learn that you can trust and rely on others as well. And you'll never be able to see what others can do for you if you're always the one insisting on doing everything. For as long as you insist on doing everything, this will only confirm your fears that you can't fully trust or rely on other people. And this tight grip can cause mental exhaustion and anxiety. And the only way out of this is to quit masterminding everything and just let life happen. The only way that you can really trust life is to try letting go and see that it supports you anyway. The more evidence you build up of life sorting itself out, the more you will trust. And then you'll be free to just be that regal authority figure from a place of joy and sharing your gifts rather than any misplaced fears or a need for control. 4/6s often try to control people because they don't trust that everything will work out okay if they don't. Even though you are born wise, the first 30 years of your life is still full of ups and downs, mostly to do with people. Those relationships are your lessons in life. And the main thing you have to make sure you don't do is let those experiences close down your heart for fear of failure and being hurt. Once you hit your Saturn return around 30, if you've gleaned wisdom from your experiences, your life will begin to settle down a bit. Look back on those experiences with appreciation and thanks, and that will keep your heart open. Be aware that just because you're right about most things, it doesn't mean that you're right about everything. It's okay to look to others for guidance sometimes too. Your regal air is natural to you. There is nothing you have to do to get it. So relax into it. You don't need to overperform, seek attention, or hide from attention. You are here to balance the wisdom of your head with the wisdom of your heart. And when you do, you crack us open in hearts and minds in whatever you do. So now that you have a better understanding about who you truly are and what your personality is, let's talk a bit about the best way for you to make things happen and how you can feel if you are on the right path or have ventured off of it. So your strategy, how you make things happen, is by informing. And your strategy is the way you make things happen in your life, how you go about making your dream life, how you manifest. And the world has taught us that we have to push and force things to happen. But you have a unique way of drawing your dreams to you that will feel much more easeful and fun. Plus, it will get you much quicker results when you do it, because you're doing it in the way that you're meant to be doing it. You're not meant to try to make things happen. You're meant to go off and do your thing, which doesn't involve asking anyone's permission for anything. This is about trusting. You should trust that your urges will kick off a chain reaction of other people who see what you're up to. But that you don't and shouldn't think about the side effects when you do your thing. Create what you're called to create. Do and say what's trying to come out of you. But remember that whatever it is you're up to, there are gonna be people who want to get on your train. And in order for the right people to be magnetized to you, all you have to do is openly share what you're doing, thinking, working on, considering. This is informing. You activate a sorting mechanism that ensures all the right parts come together without you really having to make it come together. All the perfect circumstances will unfold, but you have to bring people's attention to what you're starting. In terms of energy, what you do is the cause that everyone else reacts to, which creates effects. Being seen is scary for you because you equate it with all these things which are super limiting and constricting your spirit. But there is another way. It's your energy that actually dictates how the openly sharing is received. And when a manifester is totally accepting of their true nature and urges, because at the end of the day, the universe gave them to you, so who are you to question them? And then shares them without needing the acceptance from the outside world. Ironically, people accept it more because they're responding to your energy around it. And the right people will even adore it. However, when you are avoiding informing, people pick up on that and they will actually end up doing the poking and the prodding and the judging, which then confirms your fear and makes you want to keep hiding. So every time you make incremental change towards being totally open with people, you will be better received. And all of a sudden, people who seemed maybe totally uninterested will want to know more. You will pique the interest of strangers, and people will come out of the seemingly nowhere to help support you and bring momentum to whatever it is that you're starting. Know that being unapologetic doesn't have to be loud or aggressive or shoving it down other people's throats. And the best way for you to share is in whatever way feels authentic and genuine to you. Being unapologetic just means you being totally happy with it in yourself and not offering it up to others for their approval. When you share it from the heart, without needing a certain response from it, you are free. And when you are free, your actions will create ripples that affect people in the best ways possible. People want to follow free, big, unapologetic people. And this is what and who you really are. So your sign, how you know that you're on the right path, is peace. And your sign is the feeling you have when you're living your design. It's a no-fail way that the universe can signal to you that you're on the right track. When you're using your energy correctly, you will always feel your sign come up in your life. So you never have to do any guesswork to know whether you're in alignment or not. Your sign will be there to show you. When you're doing what you truly want to do, fully trusting and relying on your true self, you feel at peace with no one bothering you, no one pressuring you to be or to do anything you don't want to, no one expecting you to fit into a certain thing. But most importantly, you aren't putting any pressures or expectations on yourself. Just recognizing that all you need to do is keep doing what your divine, spontaneous nature urges you to do. Although they are here to create movements, manifestors don't want to rule from a high. They don't want to micromanage people. They don't want to have a million people to answer to. And you're not any different. They just want to be left alone and have the freedom to do whatever they feel like doing next. When you've let go of needing to know what to do in order to get your dream life, and instead trust that your inner urges will lead you right to it, you will feel that inner peace and space to breathe and play that you so crave. You can blast off as many times as you want with no limitations on you, and also let it all go in between those bursts of energy and come back to a total nothingness. Life seems like your blank canvas, full of promises, all over again. So you're not self theme. That's how you feel when you are doing things that aren't aligned for you. That is anger. I constantly have an itch. So that's what you're seeing. And your not self theme is the feeling we get whenever we're not living our design. Life gives you this feeling so you can always tell or spot or see when you're getting off track so that you can redirect quickly back to using your energy the way they're meant to. Your theme, your not self theme as a manifestor is anger. And we feel anger whenever we feel we've been wronged by someone else. Since a manifestor's challenge is about being in their power, the opposite of that is someone else having the power or control over them. You may have been conditioned to believe that being in your power makes you bad or unacceptable or dangerous or are afraid of it, and so unconsciously seek to place other people in positions of control or pedestals in your life. It's also easier for a manifestor to believe that their situation is other people's doing, because then at least you can blame them. There's someone else to be mad at. For as long as you are not giving yourself full permission to do things the way you want to do them, without looking for the okay from others, you will always be angry or mad at something or someone. When you feel angry, it's always your cue to be your own permission slip and do what your soul truly craves to do in this moment. You might be afraid to do this because you're afraid to make a mistake, which would mean that you then be mad at yourself. But know that if you are living your design, you will always receive the right guidance on what to do. And if you do occasionally make choices that are not soul choices, that's part of your learning to come back to yourself. This is where you need to practice knowing that just because you made bad choices, it doesn't equate being a bad person. Accepting yourself and having your own back when you need it is what will dissolve that anger into peace. Anger doesn't necessarily mean raging and screaming. It's an internal feeling like things are not right or not fair. So that is why I want to talk a little bit about what anger can feel like. It can feel like, why can everyone else do that and I can't? The rules are different for everyone else. It can feel like holding on to tension. It can feel like you're at the mercy of other people's agendas. It can feel like you have no control over your own life. It can feel like you're bending and bending and bending all the time and that you're about to snap. It can feel like you're mad or annoyed at people having done things to you. It can feel like things are bubbling under the surface and maybe you feel it, or maybe you're trying to stuff it down or ignore it because it's bad to be anything but placating and sweet. It can feel like feeling caged. It can feel like you can't see straight, or maybe that other people can, or start doubting your own abilities and visions. It can feel like constantly questioning yourself. What am I not seeing? The feeling of anger comes from deeply doubting yourself and then believing that there's something wrong with you that's leading to your lack of being where you want to be. But there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. You are destined for greatness and happiness like everyone else. You just have to be okay with doing it your way and knowing that's the way the universe wants you to do it. When you are so happy and trusting in you, always being able to do what your soul is calling you to, and could care less about outside factors, you dissolve that anger and go back into your sign of peace. And this is where you belong. So now I want to talk to you a bit more about your natural gifts, the natural gifts that you possess. And to not make it a more lengthy video than it's already turning out to be, I want to limit it to the ones that are relevant to your question. So you have the gift of marching to your own beat. People with this gift have a strong internal sense of their own rhythm, so they can't fit into the world's timing and schedule. If they do, it's a disservice to everyone. Your body has its own sense of when it wants to do certain things, even if that's unconventional. You have to honor it, because making sure things happen in the best way is how you do them and when you do them. There is such a thing as divine timing, meaning if you listen to your internal clock, you'll do things at the best time. When you send the email at 10 p.m. because that's when it feels good to you, people will receive it at the time that elicits the best possible outcome for them. You activate the highest synchronicities and things lining up when you do. And because of these little moments of hitting the bullseye with your precise actions, your life will line up so much more seamlessly than if you try to work from 9 to 5 or sleep at 11 or anything else that you've been told was right. Trust your body's internal clock. You also have the gift of listening and collecting stories. With this gift, you innately come across as a great listener and make other people want to open up to you and tell you things without knowing why. This is because you are here to absorb all of these tales of life experiences, glean insight from them, and turn them into wisdom we can all learn from. When you're out in the world, you're naturally just collecting information about what people are doing, thinking, and going through. These words and experiences teach you things, and your gift is that you draw conclusions or patterns or life lessons out of them, which you can then use in whatever roles you have in this lifetime. Your wisdom you create from this helps give people direction. It makes them smarter and wiser about who we are and what we could or should do. It's important that you make time to actually process those stories, because that's what your magic is. So don't ever feel bad about indulging in your love of analyzing all news and stories that come your way and pique your interest. You're built this way because it's part of your purpose. You also have the gift of expanding the good in others' lives. And people with this gift have this expansive energy to them where they know how to create success and bigness for other people or increase what's already there. It's likely that everyone who spends time with you up close has either become wealthier, more successful, more spiritual conscious, or all three of them. For you, making others bigger in the parts of life you're passionate about is easy. Sometimes it even happens without you trying to. You magnify everyone's potential. If you want success, focus on creating it in others, in making others well equipped for a great life, in any way that you're gifted in, and it will come back to you in spades. The more you expand the quality of life for others, the less you will ever have to worry about your own abundance and thriving. You also have the gift of sensing people's needs. And people with this gift are deeply sensitized to the world around them. Knowing exactly what other people need comes easy to them. There are two general levels of need. One is the basic needs like food and shelter and belonging. And the next is a need for connection to something greater, to feel inspired, to feel aligned, to feel spiritual. At least one of those areas, if not more, will interest you. And these are the parts you need to tap into. Since you have extra sensors into people and the world, you can tell you can tell what people will need in order to live a fuller, better quality of life. Funneling this sensing into whatever it is that you do and let this inform the way you show up for others. You also have the gift to tailor your message. People with this gift know the right way to communicate something in a way the person hearing it will really get it. If you're telling 10 different people the same message, you have the ability to phrase it differently each time so it's best communicated for each person to receive it. This is salesmanship at its purest essence. The negative way to use this gift is to be a pushy salesperson. And the correct way to use this gift is to say, if I have a sense that you need something, I'm going to actually help you get in touch with that sense that you need it yourself with the words that I use and the way that I express it. You have the ability to meet people at their energy and perspective and help them see something that they don't see yet, that they need. Although you have the ability to sell something, the key is to focus on helping someone create the demand or feel the desire for the thing within themselves. You also have the gift of having a nose for success. People with this gift can just tell if something's going to work out or not. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or a project, you can sense when it's going to be a success and when it's not. Don't pressure yourself to know or explain why you sense these things because they aren't logical. They're intuitive. The second you try to justify your intuition, you lose a piece of its magic and deduce away its truth. Like with all intuitive gifts, the more you practice it, the stronger it gets. So whether you feel super good at sniffing out success now or not at all, just know that you are. The key is to direct that skill out into the world to things that aren't you and not use it upon yourself, wondering if you are going to fail or succeed. Because you are especially tuned into the energies of failure and success, it can make you overly afraid of failing yourself. Your work is to recognize that voice when it comes in and choose to believe that it's not telling you the truth when it comes to your own path. Use it to help the world instead. You also have the gift of spotting trends and patterns. So this gift is about spotting trends and patterns and forecasting what's going to come next. For you, you can say, we had X and then came I, so Z is coming. It's effortless for you to know that. Or you can imagine something becoming more and more popular and then capitalize on it. At its core, people with this gift are consciously or unconsciously keen behavioral observers, using what they saw from the past till present to predict the future and then doing something about it. So this also makes you deeply entrepreneurial. You can apply this skill to whatever parts of your life that you're passionate about, whether that's fashion, scientific algorithms, or legal procedures. It all works. For you, it's literally a formula. You also have the gift of reading the room. People with this gift walk into a room and it tells them everything they need to know. They get 100 messages about what's going on underneath, delivered in a snapshot. They clock all the unsaid words, the dynamics between people, the vibes, and often mentally process it without even knowing they're doing so. This is a gift that lives in the intuition, so this information just gets downloaded into you without passing through your intellectual brain. The trick with this gift is to focus on being present, because the more present you are, the better you can be prepared for the next moment. The present moment will tell you everything you need, whereas if you're worrying about the future, you're missing all the intel available to you right here and now. We get told so much we are safest and most protected when we make all these action plans and strategies ahead of time to be well prepared and well armed for life. Whereas this gift teaches us that life will nudge us in exactly the next best direction at any time. Nudges that will be far better than any of our pre thought intentions, anyway. And that's all we ever need to know. So I hope that these gifts already gave you a lot of insight into yourself and that they answered your question. Of course, you have even more gifts than just these ones. So if you'd like to find out about those, then just send me a message. So now let's talk about the way that you manifest, because the way that you manifest is non-specific. And with manifesting, I refer to your way of bringing things you want into your reality. You are designed to manifest in a non-specific way, which is a method that's very new to the world. Traditionally, we tell people to get clear on exactly what they want down to a T, to make vision boards, to write lists. This style is very much about the person and what the person wants. We get told if you don't know what you want, you'll never get it. But this is not true for you. You can and are meant to have beautiful things happen in your life without you having asked for them or wanted them specifically. Your work is to have a general idea of what you'd like and then to stay open to how the universe will fill in the details of that manifestation, because you are so much greater than what you could ever imagine yourself. So when we say a general idea, let's say you want a career as a journalist. You don't have to know which magazine is your ideal one. You will be guided to the right one when you leave it to the universe. You just have to point in the right direction by knowing the essence of what you want. So, what is passionate for you? What do you want to write about? So, in manifesting that career in journalism, you just have to be clear that you want to work in a place that enables you to feel valued, allows you to write the things that you want, be filled with people that inspire you, etc. You're getting clear on the core essence of the thing you want, rather than worrying about how it has to look. Sure, you can manifest specific things, but have you ever worked to get something you thought you wanted, but it didn't make you feel how you hoped it would make you feel? This is just a reminder to focus on the feeling and let the universe send you the exact thing that will make you feel that way. A lot of non-specifics get pulled out of their natural way of doing things because we live in a world that is always asking us to describe and quantify where we're heading. But you're not supposed to know. You're not meant to have a 5-year plan. The only thing you ever have to have is the general idea, the general feeling. For you, whenever you get very set on something, turning out in a specific way, it's like putting blinders on, which narrows down what you came to you. And it may shut down the most ideal outcome from coming to you. You're not meant to know what you want in such a detailed and specific way. It's a practice in letting go of control when it comes to your dreams and really understanding that you're not totally in charge. You create your dreams with the universe. You just have to get in touch with what your soul really, truly wants. And then instead of trying to figure out how it will all unfold, stay open to being surprised and delighted. And now that you know all of this, it is finally time to talk about your life theme, your purpose, what you came here to accomplish in this life. And your life theme is the right angle cross of the 4 ways. Barbara, what the peep does that mean? It means to know what people need, physically and spiritually, and then to provide it. Every human lifetime has a different theme. And your life theme describes the main energy you're meant to bring into everything that you do. And it's called a theme because it's meant to run through all the areas of your life. The same mix of skills and essence will bring you success and alignment, whether you're at home, with your friends, at work, or in the grocery store. When you live according to your life theme, that's when you know you're on the road to purpose. So, as far as the universe is concerned, your purpose is not just achieved at work. The universe doesn't compartmentalize like that. It wants you to see you sharing your specific essence everywhere you go. When you bring your essence to the table, you signal the universe and to the people around you that you're being who you're meant to be. And this is when people gravitate towards you the most. When opportunities and synchronicities flood to you because you're simply being the person you came here to be. So all the good things that are meant for you finally fit. This theme is about giving people things they need to thrive. There are physical needs, like the need for nourishment or food, the need for a home or a sense of home. And then there are spiritual needs, like living your purpose, manifesting your dreams, having a connection to your inner self and to the light. You are tapped into the importance of these needs and you feel them deeply. You know that when you give people the tools that help meet these universal human needs for a good life, the rest of a person's life journey takes care of itself and unfolds effortlessly. The journey of this life theme usually starts with you nourishing yourself with these needs, figuring out what elevates you, and then using those things to help elevate others too. For people with this life theme, food and nourishment are a huge gateway to spirituality, and the two are deeply entwined. The physical is simply a representation of our inner self anyway, and when you can bring it in all the sides of you, in whatever work that you do, the emotional, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, that will create your biggest success. You will help elevate us, elevate our whole self when that is your intention. You could be a contractor, an interior designer, a nutritionist. It really doesn't matter what your title is. It's about, are you using that as an opportunity to elevate the whole being? Because this is your gift. This is your purpose, Tommy. So I hope that this answered your question, or at the very least gave you lots of insights into who you are and what you're meant to do here and the best way to go about doing it. I know this is a lot, but it's you, and I want it to be as thorough as possible. And I haven't even tapped into your gene keys yet, but I know you know stuff about the gene keys, so I've let that go for today. But if you want to know more or dive in deeper, just reach out to me and let's talk about how to make that happen. For right now, I wish you an amazing rest of your day. And I can imagine if you feel the need to watch this video a couple of times, which is also perfect. Thank you again, Tommy, for sharing your question, for participating in my 30-day Raise My Vibration Challenge. And by all means, let me know how this was for you and how you experienced this video. Thank you for watching to the end. Also, other people that might have watched this. And if you have a question that you would like answered, then go to day 1 video about how to go through the process of having your question answered, just like Tommy had today. For right now, for everybody, have an amazing day and see you next time.